Welcome students and welcome to my channel Sequential Biology. In the previous video we have talked about innate immunity. In this video we will be talking about acquired immunity. Okay, acquired immunity is known as second line of defense, and in acquired immunity two types of cell is responsible for removal of these different type of pathogenic organisms. These pathogenic organisms may be viruses, bacteria, protozoa or helminth. So this acquired immunity causes the clearance of these pathogenic organisms. But how acquired immunity acts, and here we will discuss about this. Okay, in acquired immunity two types of cells are responsible. One type is B cell and another type is T cell. Okay, and B cell is responsible for development of humoral immunity and the T cell is responsible for development of cell mediated immunity. So acquired immunity are two types, the humoral immunity and the cell mediated immunity. And B cell causes the secretion of many glycoprotein, that is the antibody. Okay, so by the process of humoral immunity antibody are secreted, and T cells is the development or secretion of cytokine, and also this causes the development of cytotoxic T lymphocyte. Whenever any virus, bacteria, protozoa or the helminth enters into our body, they are regarded as antigen or foreign protein in our body. Okay, the naive B cell, so naive B cell are usually present inside our body. So these antigens binds with this naive B cell. So these are the B cell receptor, and this is complementary with this antigen. So acquired immunity is actually specific. So the naive B cell is specific for specific type of antigen, right? So any particular viruses, suppose the AIDS virus, for AIDS viruses a specific naive B cell is present in our body. Okay, suppose bacteria, though bacteria may be different type of pathogenic bacteria may be present, this may be responsible for development of tuberculosis or any other kind of disease. For different kind of disease, different type of naive B cell or different type of T cell is present. So the acquired immunity is specific, but innate immunity is not specific. Innate immunity acts against any type of pathogen, but acquired immunity acts against specific type of pathogen, right? Anyway, whenever any pathogenic microorganisms enters into our body, these are regarded as the antigen. So first, this antigen binds with the receptor of this naive B cell. So this is actually the B cell receptor, and whenever this antigen binds with this B cell receptor, this naive B cell will be differentiated into two type of cell, the memory B cell and the plasma cell. When this specific antigen enters in our body second time, then this memory B cells will be activated, and this causes the heightened immunological response. So these memory B cells remains stocked in our body. Okay, and the plasma cell, the naive B cell differentiated into memory cell and the plasma cell, and plasma cell secrete a special type of glycoprotein which is known as antibody. So antibody is secreted from the plasma cell, and specific antibody is secreted against specific type of pathogen. Then the plasma cell secrete the antibody or immunoglobulin, and a plasma cell can secrete almost 2000 antibody per second. So this is very powerful. Okay, and this will causes the clearance of these pathogenic microorganisms, and this line of defense is known as humoral immunity. When any pathogen or antigen enters into our body and this attack any nucleated cell or any type of cell, then this nucleated cell processed and presented this antigen through the MHC class 1 molecule. This is very important. So all nucleated cell processed and presented the antigen with the help of MHC class 1 molecule. Okay, and this processed and presented antigen can be recognized by cytotoxic T cell. So these are the cytotoxic T cell, and this is the receptor. These are the receptor of this cytotoxic T cell, and this cytotoxic T cell receptor can recognize the antigen which is presented by MHC class 1 molecule. Okay, then this cytotoxic T cell will be differentiated into cytotoxic T lymphocyte. Okay, so this cytotoxic T cell will be differentiated into cytotoxic T lymphocyte, and this cytotoxic T lymphocyte causes destruction of viral infected nucleated cell. So virus cannot reproduce inside the nucleated cell because their host cell becomes died with the help of this cytotoxic T lymphocyte, and thus by this way the cytotoxic T cell causes the removal of this viral infected cell, and so our body is protected from these viruses. Okay, apart from this, there are present another kind of T cell which is known as helper T cell, and helper T cell receptor. So these are the helper T cell receptor. This helper T cell receptor can recognize those pathogen which are presented by MHC class II molecule. Usually macrophage or the phagocytic cell, when engulf any pathogenic microorganisms, then they process these pathogenic microorganisms, and these processed pathogens are presented through MHC class II molecule. Then these 2 points are very important. Remember, any nucleated cell processed and presented antigen through the MHC class I molecule, and the phagocytic cell or macrophage processed and presented any antigen through the MHC class II molecule, and helper T cell can recognize the processed and presented antigen through MHC class II molecule, and cytotoxic T cell can recognize processed and presented antigen through MHC class I molecule. Okay, now when this helper T cell receptor can recognize the processed antigen through MHC class II molecule, then this will be differentiated into effector helper T cell, and this effector helper T cell causes the secretion of a special kind of chemical which is known as cytokine. Cytokine acts in 2 lines. Okay, so this will act or activate the humoral immunity, and also this will activate the cell mediated immunity. Okay, so this cytokine actually causes the differentiation of naive B cell into memory cell and plasma cell, and also this cytokine causes the differentiation of cytotoxic T cell into the cytotoxic T lymphocyte. Then this is the function of cytokine. So cytokine helps in differentiation of naive B cell into memory cell and the plasma cell, and TC cell into cytotoxic T lymphocyte. So this cytokine helps both humoral and cell mediated immunity, and for this reason this type of T cell is known as helper T cell. Okay, then this is actually the process. Of acquired immunity or second line of defense. So in second line of defense, 2 type of cells are involved, the B cell and the T cell, and B cell causes the development of humoral immunity, and T cell causes the development of cell mediated immunity. So then acquired immunity are 2 types, the humoral immunity and cell mediated immunity, and in humoral immunity antibody are produced, and in cell mediated immunity cytotoxic T lymphocyte is developed or formed or differentiated from cytotoxic T cell, and this causes the destruction of any viral infected cell. Okay, then the acquired immunity are 2 types, humoral and cell mediated immunity, and in humoral immunity the B cell or plasma B cell produce many antibody against any type of pathogen, and cell mediated immunity in these cases the 2 type of cell are involved, the helper T cell and cytotoxic T cell. Helper T cell causes the synthesis of cytokine, so this is a type of chemical and which helps both in humoral immunity and cell mediated immunity in this line. Okay, so the TC cell kill the viral infected cell. Then this is actually the process by which acquired immunity acts against pathogen. Okay, then we have seen that the B cell and the T cell are 2 most important cell and which are responsible for acquired immunity. Then the acquired immunity is second line of body defense, and various types of blood cells are involved, and this is specific for specific type of pathogen, and in these cases the B cell and T cell are involved. Okay, and also the antigen presenting cell are also come in operation. Okay, to understand about acquired immunity we should know the origin of B cell and the T cell. Okay, blood cell is synthesized from a special stem cell called the hematopoietic stem cell. So in our long bones there is present bone marrow, and in this bone marrow the stem cells are present. Stem cells are those types of cells which have 2 properties, the division and differentiation. Okay, and in bone marrow this hematopoietic stem cell is synthesized. So this is the hematopoietic stem cell, and these hematopoietic stem cells have 2 properties I have told you. It has the property of division and also the property of differentiation. So hematopoietic stem cell is differentiated and matured, and whenever this hematopoietic stem cells is differentiated and matured in the bone marrow, then they are called the B cell. Okay, remember the hematopoietic stem cell which is developed and matured in the bone marrow, they are developed into the B cell, and this B cell is responsible for development of humoral immunity. In bird it is produced bursts of Fabricius of Pierce patch in the alimentary canal, so this is called as B cell. Okay, But when this hematopoietic stem cell migrate to the thymus and is differentiated inside the thymus, then this differentiated cell is known as T cell. And since these T cells are developed in the thymus, so they are named as T cell. Okay, so here this is a thymus gland and the hematopoietic stem cell is differentiated into the thymus. Okay, and then this type of cell is known as T cell. And you know, these T cells are two type, helper T cell and cytotoxic T cell. So these 2 points are very important. This is a B cell and special type of lymphocyte, you know, and this B cell will be differentiated into plasma cell and the memory cell, and the plasma cell causes the secretion of many glycoprotein or antibody, and which causes elimination of this antigen. Okay, this B cell contains the receptor. This is known as B cell receptor. A B cell contains 10 to the power 5 number of B cell receptor. Okay, so billion type of B cell receptor can be found in B cell for billion types of antigen, and this is called as antigenic diversity. Now we will see about different type of T cell. T cell are usually main 2 types, but apart from this, the another type of T cell is present. This is known as suppressor T cell. So T cell are 2 types, the helper T cell and cytotoxic T cell. And in both helper T cell and cytotoxic T cell, you can find the T cell receptor. So these are the T cell receptor. In helper T cell, the T cell receptor is present, and also in cytotoxic T cell, the T cell receptors are present. Marker protein. In the helper T cell, there are present a specific type of marker protein. This is known as the CD4. And in cytotoxic T cell, a special type of marker protein is present. This is known as CD8. Okay, so CD4 is present in helper T cell, and CD8, this marker protein, is present in cytotoxic T cell. And this helper T cell causes the secretion of cytokine, which activate humoral immunity and which also activate the cell mediated immunity. And the cytokine which is secreted from helper T cell causes the differentiation of this cytotoxic T cell into cytotoxic T lymphocyte. Okay, so the T cell can be changed into the cytotoxic T lymphocyte, and the cytotoxic T lymphocyte causes the destruction of any viral infected cell. Apart from this, another type of T cell can be found. So these are known as the suppressor T cell. Actually, they are helper T cell and cytotoxic T cell. The characteristic features of acquired immunity. So acquired immunity shows the antigenic specificity. That means this acquired immunity is specific for specific type of antigen. And acquired immunity has the remarkable memory, because we have seen that whenever any naive B cell is differentiated into memory cell and plasma cell, and this memory cell remains as stocked in our body. And for this reason, our immunological system has the remarkable memory. Whenever any antigen enters second time in our body, these memory B cells will be activated, and so our immunological system becomes more stronger whenever any pathogen enters into second time in our body. So after the first exposure of an antigen, it can be recognized this antigen. Memory is very important in acquired immunity. And here you can see the 2 graphs by which we can describe immunological memory very easily. Okay, suppose any antigen which enters into our body first time, then this is called as the first exposure of that antigen, but this will take time for activation of B cell. Okay, and also the immunological response or the intensity of immunological response is low. Here you can see this is low. Whenever any antigen enters into our body, this immunological response start after 10 days on the basis of this graph. But when the same type of antigen enters into our body second time, then you can see the immunological response show a quick fashion. Okay, so this immunological response also heightened, and here you can see the heightened immunological response. But in this case, the immunological response has the low intensity, but in these cases you can see the heightened immunological response. Okay, and because due to the presence of many memory cells, these memory cells becomes active. But in case of first exposure, no memory cell are present in our body, but in the second exposure, actually due to the first exposure, memory cells are produced. This will take time. Okay, but in the second exposure, since our body already have developed many memory cells, so the quick response can be possible. Okay, and this will causes rapid elimination of different type of pathogens from our body. We have discussed about innate and acquired immunity, and in the next classes we will discuss about product of plasma cell, that is the antibody, and different types of antibody. So thank you, and that's it.